to be with you this Thursday morning, the 3rd of April, broadcasting live from West Point, Mississippi. We're at Sally Kate Winters Family Services, telling you the story of Sally Kate Winters and how it incorporates with the community here. Remind you that the C Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395. In sports and business, having the right team behind you matters. Partner with C Spire today for business solutions from dedicated, certified IT engineers. Learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you. Joe Max Higgins joins us now. If you have listened to SuperTalk Mississippi for any amount of time, you've heard from Joe Max before, CEO of the Golden Triangle Development Link. You strike me as a guy who probably has a nickname, but I don't know your nickname.
In college, it was Taco.
Taco.
Look at me.
I was going to say, is there anything other than the obvious from where that came?
The obvious.
Okay. Taco Higgins joining us this morning as we broadcast from here. This has been your home for a couple of decades now, this part of the state of Mississippi, and the work that you have done with Link and growing the business community has been incredible. But you've also had kind of a front row seat to watch some of what is happening here at Sally Kate Winters and the impact that it has on the community. Tell us about that.
Well, I work for 3 counties and 3 towns. And I think what's happening here at Sally Kate Winters kind of embodies what West Point and Clay County is. There's just a sense of spirit in this community, a spirit, a team, an esprit de corps that if a need comes up, boom, they do it.
It's not every day you get a esprit de corps rolled into the morning, but I'm glad to have
and it's
that.
early. It's early, but seriously, of the 3 places I work, there's probably more of that here.
Yeah.
That if there's a need, if there's something, they're caring people. They'll roll up their sleeves. They'll have a good party. They'll always feed you good.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think what's
we got sausage balls and muffins back here.
I heard that.
If you need some.
But seriously, this does not surprise me that this is here, that this work is going on here, because it's the kind of people that live here and work here.
Yeah, and it works because the community supports it, right? I mean, and I don't just mean financially. I'm talking about volunteering time, being supportive financially of it, whether it's businesses or individual. There are a lot of people that work together to make Sally Kate Winters the place it is.
Yeah, and it's God's work, and it's important, and for that matter, I think the people see it, but then they do it, but they still roll up their sleeves and do it.
Yeah, really incredible stuff. Incredible stuff happening every time we visit with you. We talk about development and projects and growth, and you don't seem to take many days off.
Well, you can't. I mean, there's a lot of folks in this business, though, they'll have a win and they'll talk about it for, 6 months, 6 years. Remember back when, it's emblematic of the town that you drive in. It says that they won a state championship in football in 1957.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've seen those places.
Absolutely.
You probably didn't allow
What have you done since?
Yeah. And we years ago, I worked for a civil engineering firm, and I was in business development. And I'd go get a deal, I'd get it put together, get it funded, get it ready to go, and I'd move on to the next one. Rarely did I go and look at the projects that were getting built. My job was to do the next one. That's the way we treat this. Pat yourself on the back one time and, get one good newspaper article and then roll on to the next one.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we do it.
You've gotten a little more publicity than just one good newspaper article, not just here in Mississippi, but regionally and maybe even nationally as well. One of the things you and I have talked about before, and it's really fascinating to me, is there is a model for what you're doing, but it is not and there might even be an instruction manual, but it's not easy to follow the model because you got to have so many people committed,
correct,
and pulling in the same direction, and not just for a little while, but for a long time.
That's correct. And getting everybody on the team.
See, I've paid attention when we've talked.
Well, I know, but getting everybody on the team, getting everybody figuring out what keeping your eye on the prize, keeping it, going where you need to go.
Yeah.
In 21 years, I will tell you, we've had a lot of success, and people tend to start getting lazy. People start getting slowed down, and they don't push as hard. And, we're in a period now where we're having to pop that ass just a little bit, okay, on some folks to say, hey, if you want to continue to do this, you better get on with the program.
When the country hits an economic hiccup, whether it's 2007 or the uncertainty that exists right now. I mean, tariffs going in yesterday and lots of people not sure what the market's going to do, not sure what it's going to look like long term. Does that cause the people who have committed in terms of investment and growth to this area to go, hold on, maybe we need to slow down a little bit, or are we sure about this? Have you seen that?
Yeah, well, it affects them. When the economy slows down, I mean, PACCAR makes engines for trucks.
Right.
And when there's an uncertainty and you're not ordering 150 trucks because you're a big fleet, then, they've got to lay a few people off. The steel business ebbs and flows. The aluminum business is going to do the same thing. A lot of the governmental work with the defense stuff kind of stays the same, but when they have cuts in the defense, sometimes it's our hair's on fire.
Right.
But we've got to watch that, and we're watching the tariffs. Somebody said, well, that'll help your steel and aluminum plant. And I said, yeah, but there's some other guys that it'll hurt. I mean, PACCAR imports parts that go in the engines that come from foreign countries. And
more than anything, it's uncertainty, right?
That's right. So hopefully this will get figured out. I'm not saying it's good or bad or whatever. It is what it is. I watched it this morning on the news before I came over. So,
yeah.
We'll see. And I think, probably in 3 or 4 months, I did talk to one of my manufacturers, and he said, if we want to commission a different part from here that we've been getting, say, overseas, he said it's about an 18-month process. By the time we find somebody that can make it, start making it, test it, ramp them up, start building. It's 18 months. I said, so sometimes it's better just to sit and wait and see how this thing works out. And he said, that's right.
The fascinating thing to me about this entire tariff conversation, Trump said publicly, I guess it was in the joint session to Congress, he's told everybody this was coming.
Yeah.
And is doing what he said he was going to do, but he sounded a bit of a warning alarm. He said there's going to be some short-term pain, but it's a longer-term play, and I feel like that correlates kind of to what you've done. There's some short-term uncertainty at the beginning when you launch this, but it's about long-term success, and it's about rolling it forward. We don't know what the long-term is going to look like with tariffs. We don't know if you're going to have officials in office long enough to see it all the way through.
Well, that's true in life. I mean, we had a big week last week. We closed on the mega site, closed the property. The supervisors invested millions and millions of dollars. There's not a tenant for it. We anticipate this week, next week, we'll get our approval for our water and sewer loans that we're taking out to infrastructure. Those are long-term investments. Now, everybody thinks we make an investment and somebody will come tomorrow. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And you're right. Politicians come and go, and, you got to look for the long term. If you're looking for the quick hit, it's a pretty tough life.
So with the very first, was the first one a mega site? Do we call the first project? All right, so with the first mega site, when you launched that, was it Field of Dreams style, if we build it, they will come, or did you have a lead and feel like, if we do this, we're pretty sure this guy's coming in?
No. TVA unveiled that program at corporate TVA. There were 500 people there to hear about it, see about it. Our mega site, the first one in Lowndes County, was the first mega site certified in TVA. Only 2, us in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. We did not have a tenant for it. The politicians were asked to spend $170,000 in engineering design. We had to option the property from the landowners. They were skeptical. I mean, there hadn't been a lot of big things happening in a long time around here, okay?
Sure.
And it was kind of like, well, you want to try, we'll let you try. And we got it certified in less than a year. The steel mill came in because it was that good of a site. It was that much farther ahead than people. Then we did the second one. PACCAR came in before we ever exercised our options. Then we did West Point's Yokohama before the options ever expired to purchase it. We had a tenant for it. On the Infinity mega site, we held it for 10 years. But now we've got over a $3 billion aluminum mill getting built there.
Did that get uncomfortable as it sat there and was ready?
No.
Or you were far enough along financially that you could hold out?
That's it. Because we sat down early on with our guys and we said, we're going to make money on these, and we need to put this money back into the program.
Okay.
And so when it got to the Infinity mega site, the one we held on so long, profits from the steel mill, phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, projects from PACCAR, projects from other fee and lieu projects we did, more than made the debt service on the land. So, like the Cinco mega site that we closed on this last week, there is enough profit, more than enough profit, off just the aluminum mill to make the annual land payment on that. So all it is just parking the money,
sure,
waiting on another deal.
Yeah. Certainly interesting times. Joe Max Higgins joining us, CEO of Golden Triangle Development Link. We're going to spend a few minutes. I'm not even asking anymore when I ask you to stay over. You just know coming in it's
okay.
going to be. I wasn't asking.
Okay, you got me.
But you're here. I knew you would be. Taco Higgins with us on this, what is today? Thursday morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. That nickname might stick.
It has over the years, yeah.
We'll be back with you right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi, nearing the end of the 7 o'clock hour. Two quick things for you. First of all, we're talking about Sally Kate Winters Family Services. They rely on donations. They rely on grant programs and lots of individuals. If you hear stories throughout the day today that touch your heart and you feel called to make a donation to help the work that is happening here, you can donate through your phone. Text DONATE to SuperTalk25 to 91999. So just grab your phone, dial 91999 in the text app, and then text SuperTalk25, and that's to make a $25 donation? Or do you? No, it's just SuperTalk25 as in your 25. Okay, yeah, and then do you put the amount that you're donating in there? Okay, there you go. I just want to be clear about that. The other thing I wanted to mention to you as well, a post on Facebook from Governor Tate Reeves. Severe weather has impacted our state as storms move through overnight. We were talking earlier about not entirely sure about some of the damage. Preliminary reports of damage in Tate, Marshall, Benton, and Tippah counties. DeSoto and Alcorn counties likely affected as well. MEMA has Mississippi Task Force 1 out, the search and rescue team, making sure that first responders have all of the support that they need. And the governor says that updates will follow as information becomes available. Joe Max Higgins, he is CEO of Golden Triangle Development Link, visiting with us this morning. And I made kind of a off-the-cuff reference yesterday. It's like, what happened to just thunderstorms? Like, it used to rain, and we used to get thunderstorms, and now it feels like every time this time of year one of these systems comes through, there's severe storms that go along with it.
Absolutely.
Ugh, no good. You mentioned closing on Cinco, the most recent mega site for the Link, Golden Triangle Development Link. And tell me about that process, because I know it's not something that happens overnight.
No. We've been talking about it for somebody says, well, you've been talking about this 2 years. That's how long it takes.
Yeah.
Okay. So as soon as the aluminum mill was announced, as soon as the day we punched the plunger and blew up the bomb and the colored stuff came in the air, powder, we started working on our next mega site because the aluminum mill took 2,200 acres. Okay. And so we were basically out of property. So I've been having my eye on this property since I got here. I brought the owner in 20 years ago and said, would you be interested in selling your property? And he said, no. And over the years, over the decades, he said, no. I brought him in. I said, I know what you know what I'm going to ask. Let me just ask him. And he said, yeah, I'll sell it. And I said, what's changed in the last 20 years? He said, the first time you asked me this, I was 60. I'm 80 today. And so we signed an option with him, came to terms with him, and then we started doing what's required to be a certified mega site. So it's all the due diligence. It's the wetlands, it's the floodplain delineations, it's the cultural resources, it's soil borings, it's engineering, it's all the stuff that goes with Alta surveys. Power is a premium. To have power, big power, and a lot of these power companies are saying, yeah, we can get it to you, but it's 36, 48 months. Well, that's too long when a customer company comes. So never been done before in the history. We paid TVA to go ahead and pre-engineer and plan 150 megawatts to the site. That'll be done in June.
Wow.
And that knocks 24 months off that process. So now we're a year to 2 years, and you can't get a big project built in a year to 2 years. So now we're inside that window.
Right.
But all that due diligence has to be done, planning, water, sewer. Then you have to get funding. You can't just buy a piece of dirt and say, there it is. That won't work. That won't make you competitive. So what we do, different than probably most towns in Mississippi, is we go ahead and put that infrastructure in so that when a deal comes, we're ahead of the next guy, the next guy, the next guy.
Sure.
And when Governor Reeves puts some money in the deal, that goes to offset the cost of the company, not do infrastructure that has to serve the site. So automatically we become more competitive with anybody around.
Yeah. You mentioned the governor, the role. I mean, we've seen just big economic announcement after economic announcement, whether it's Madison County or Marshall County, all over the state of Mississippi. Obviously, there is a good relationship between your office and the legislature, your office and the governor's office. Do you have kind of a standing green light from the legislature? We've seen the pattern of success. Go get the next one, and we'll get you what you need?
Well, no, I don't think we do. I think we got to sell every deal when it comes in. But here's what I think. I think we built a relationship and a reputation that when we bring something and ask, it gets a serious look. Okay, it's not.
It's easier for them to say yes, maybe, than it was at the beginning.
Yeah. And I will recall. I'm not going to name him. He could probably get mad. But one of the senators, when we were doing the aluminum mill, the night before there was an event, and we were there, and he came in, and I went up to start pressing him on the wall and selling him real hard.
Right.
He said, "You don't have to." And he's not one of my counties.
Okay.
And he said, "You don't have to sell me, Joe Max." And I said, "Well, I think I do." He said, "No, you don't." He said, "The steel mill, it's owned by the same company." He said, "The steel mill work." He told me this. Now, I knew it, but he did too. He said, "The steel mill works 950 people, and 111 people in my county work there. I think they'll have roughly the same percentages of the aluminum mill. You don't have to sell me."
There was a proof of concept there already. Continued success, my friend. Always good to visit with you.
Thanks for having me, and y'all doing good work here.
Sally Kate Winters Family Services, 8 o'clock hour coming up next with you. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.